A Collection of Creatures by B.R. Grove. After dark. The girl raced down the sidewalk, her sneakers pounding against the concrete. Her foot caught on a raised block and she fell forward with a thud, skinning her elbows. She quickly scrambled up and started to run again, but a hand grabbed her by the neck and dragged her back. She gasped for air as the man's fingers dug into her throat and he slammed her against the brick wall of the nearest building, her head ricocheting with a loud crack. The man slammed the girl against the wall once more before letting go. She crumbled to the ground, unconscious. Rasping, the man knelt next to the girl's lifeless body and produced a syringe from his pocket. He inserted the needle into her jugular vein and took some blood. Then he removed the needle, brought it to his face, and jabbed it into his temple. He let out a rumbling sigh as the dead girl's blood flowed into his veins, easing his pain. A moment passed, and the relief was washed away by more agony. The man rasped and stood. "Need more," he muttered as he hobbled down the sidewalk and away from the body. "Need more." In the shadows of the alleyway, a figure emerged. It was a young woman wearing a hooded black cloak that covered her face so that all but her ethereal green eyes were enveloped in shadow. Damn, Eden thought, gazing down the slumped cadaver of the girl. She was so young. She regretted doing nothing to stop the man, that creature, from taking another innocent life, but she couldn't have made herself known to him in case her hunch had been wrong. Now that she knew for certain that her target was not among the living, she could make sure to intervene. Lily fell out the door of the bar and landed flat on her face in the alley. "You better not know your face around here no more, punk," the fat bartender shouted at her and slammed the door. She flipped her black ringlets out of her eyes and glared up at the closed door. Then she stood up, dusted off her jean jacket and pink dress ensemble, and turned to walk away, only to run into a man in a leather jacket standing in the middle of the alley. He stared at her with glassy eyes, his face sickly pale and his lips blue and crusty. His short blonde hair was the same color and texture as straw. She thought he looked like a reanimated corpse. "Excuse me," she said, moving past him and walking onto the street. The man grunted and followed after her, determined to get the fresh lifeblood that flowed through the young mortal's veins. Once the two had left the alley, Eden appeared in the shadows again. She detached herself from their grasp and stepped out into the street, gazing in the direction her target had went. It wasn't long before she heard a shriek coming from the vacant parking lot at the end of the road. She sped over and saw the dark-skinned girl being menaced by the creature. "No, let me go," she cried. The man snarled like a beast and picked her up by the neck. "Need more," he bellowed. Before he could do anything else, Eden stepped in. "Hey!" The man looked over, startled. Eden stepped back into the shadows and in an instant moved through them to the other side of the parking lot. She shoved the girl away from him. The girl fell to the ground, gasping for air. Eden grabbed the man by his worn leather jacket and lifted him up in the air. He rasped and clutched at her gloved hands with his own withered ones. "Need more." Eden snorted. "That's not going to happen." She focused all her energy on him, and the creature soon dissipated into thin air and was gone. She sighed and dropped her arms to her sides. Then she turned to the dark-skinned girl, who was still gasping and now staring into the space where the man had been with wide eyes. Eden offered her a hand. "Need help?" Lily was still certain that she was having a nightmare. She had just seen a man vanish into thin air right before her eyes. There was no way that could have been real, right? Well, this goth girl that killed him was certainly real, and she was reaching her hand out to her. "Need help?" the girl asked. Reluctantly, Lily took her hand, and the girl helped her up. "Thanks," Lily said, rubbing her throat where the man had grabbed her. She was certain that it would leave bruises. The girl's black-painted lips grew into a friendly smile. Her eyes glowed neon green under the shadow of her hood. "How about I walk you home? It's not safe out here after dark." Lily bit her lip. Go home with a stranger? She had just experienced what talking to people she didn't know at nighttime would do. The girl in front of her seemed fairly nice, however, and she did save Lily from dying. "Sure," she answered. "I only live a couple streets over." Once they were on their way, the girl asked, "What's your name?" "Lily. What's yours?" "Eden." They walked in silence for a while. In her mind, Lily had so many questions for Eden. Who was that guy? What did you do to him? How did you do it? She took a deep breath. Who? You're wondering who that man was who attacked you, Eden stated. Lily nodded silently. He is not a creature of this realm, she explained further. He was once human, but his soul has been warped beyond repair. His soul, Lily thought. What do you mean by this realm? Eden sighed. She knew that it was not wise to tell mortals too much about the state of existence, but she felt that Lily had a right to know the true nature of what she had just been through. This realm is in the plane of existence. There are three: the mortal or living realm, the in-between, and the afterlife. Lily was dumbfounded. She just stared with wide eyes, unsure of whether to believe what Eden was saying or not. Eden continued. As for the man that attacked you, he was a mortal whose soul refused to pass on. Like all souls that remain trapped in the in-between, he became a hollow shell of a person. Those creatures seek the lifeblood of living humans because they think it will ease the pain they feel from not being truly connected to the body they inhabit. It won't do anything, though. That sounds horrible, Lily murmured. It is. She hesitated before blurting out, Are you human? Eden stopped, her face expressionless. When she answered, her voice was little more than a whisper. I don't know what I am. At last, they stopped in front of a boarding house. We're here, Lily said, gesturing up to the rectangular gray building. Eden glanced up at it once, nonchalantly, then held out her hands. Give me your hand. Why? Lily asked. Please. She sighed and rested her hand in Eden's palm. Suddenly, she felt a wave of sensation go through her body. She looked up at the girl in front of her and was startled to see that she had neon green eyes. She jerked her hand away. Who are you? The girl smiled sadly. Be careful. It's not safe to be out after dark. With that, she walked down the dimly lit street and disappeared into the shadows.